like to introduce you to my 1953 Crosley Shelvador. Take a look at this thing. It's got a emblem up here that looks like a hood ornament. It's got some stainless steel here that says Shelvador, and when you grab a hold of this big nice handle and you open it up, you realize why they call it Shelvador. 1953, they first came out with shelves. My Admiral in the back has no shelves. That's available if you'd like that. Need some service. This has a place for eggs, and so it's got little holes down in this shelf, and you can set your eggs in there real nice. And then it's got a section here for the butter. It's got a dial. You can turn it to firm or soft. It's got additional shelves. It's got some crispers down below here. Very nice. And the whole top is a freezer section, and that's where you would make your ice or put your ice cream, that sort of thing. If you're not familiar with these, this is the ice makers back then, and so it was simply a tray, and it had a divider here that would divide the ice cubes. And interesting enough is they would impregnate these with wax so that the ice would not stick, and that would cause it to separate like that. Wax has a tendency to be a barrier so that things either don't stick or do not penetrate. This is what we're talking about today in our devotional. The title is Deaf, Blind, and Hard of Hearted. And it says this in Acts 28, 27 and 28. For the heart of this people is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest they should see with their eyes, hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them. But be it known therefore unto you that the salvation of God is sent unto the Gentiles, that they will hear it. What's happening here is Paul is reaching back to Isaiah chapter 6 verse 10, and the structure here is so interesting. It is a chiasm, which is something that is used throughout the book of Isaiah, to where what you start with is what you end with, and then you just keep connecting the two things, or three things, four things in between. Now this one, it is hearts, ears, eyes, eyes. And so he starts out and he talks about hearts, ears, eyes, ears, heart. So that's a structure, and he's saying that the people won't do it. Now, if you read the devotionalist, she says one of the most frustrating things is trying to convince a person that he's about to make a grave mistake. Sometimes we think that we can see everything, and that's not so. Sometimes we don't have the perspective or the experience that we really need. Proverbs says in a couple locations that pride goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. We were on a trip just here recently, and the place where we were at, the ocean was crystal clear, and there was a father with his child playing near the shore. He'd gotten out into the water a bit to where he was at least waist deep, maybe more, and we could see there were two dolphins out here playing. One of the dolphins made its way, and it looked like it was heading right to the father. And as he got really close, he came above the surface and he startled the father. The mother saw this on the shore, and she came running. Now, we saw all of this happening, but did not know that if we tried to warn them, would it just look like a couple of crazy people up on the pier. And so not always will people heed or understand your warning. And this is why in this section it's so adamant that one's eyes are open, and they begin to see what's going on, that they begin to listen to the Lord. And at that point, then their heart will be softened and begin to turn to the Lord. Now, if you're in a situation to where you desperately need some advice, you need some leadership, turn to the Word of God. Turn to a child of God that's got a vantage point that can see the things that are going on, that can help you. If you're the one that is up, as it were, on that pier and you're seeing things happen, Begin to pray that the people's eyes will open, that their ears will open up to the heart of, or the Word of God, that their heart might be turned to God. I want to say that if we live a life like that, if we'll live a life that has a vantage point, a life that is praying for people, a life that cares for our communities and our world, we'll be a lot like this 53 Shelvador. We will definitely be a novelty in the world that we live in. In 1953, this really was something that changed the refrigerator industry. We today can be individuals that revolutionize our world with the gospel. Would you be one that would reach out to those who desperately need a vantage point? May God bless you.